Welcome. Hi everybody. So finally I'm gonna do the Angelic looks tutorial. The palette that I used for that, surprisingly, the palette that I did use is the Carnival XL Pro palette. And yeah, let's go on with the look. We're gonna start off with mapping out the inner corner of the cut crease, and I'm just gonna go in with the PC38 brush, and we're gonna use the shade Intuition for this look. So I'm just dabbing the product and facing down, just keeping the product towards the tip of the brush, and that way it's gonna be a little bit more precise and exactly where I want the shadows to be laid. So we're gonna start towards the inner corner of the eyes, and then we're gonna create the cut crease shape already with the shadows. And with the cut crease, we're not gonna bring this all the way across. We're pretty much just creating a half cut crease cut at this point at the moment. So once you've got that into place, we're gonna go in with the shade Intuition this time, and just a small amount, just because I do want to darken this look, but I don't want to darken it too much instantly. I want to build the depth on this look and almost create a nice easy gradient between this look. So as you can see, you can still see a slight color of the shade Intuition. So now I'm just gonna grab a clean cotton pad and just rub away any excess product from the shade Lights Out. I'm gonna go back onto Intuition now, tapping off any excess, and I'm just gonna blend towards the edge of that black eyeshadow. And when I'm blending this, I'm just using the tip of the brush, using circular motion, and I'm holding the brush further out. By holding the brush further out of the handle, you'll have a little bit more of a softer diffused look, rather than if you're holding it closer to the metal clasp. So now we've got that shape and shade in, we're gonna move on to the Morphe M562, and we're gonna go with the shade Hall, and again keeping the product at the very tip of the brush. And we're just gonna lay this right over the top of that shade Intuition, softly blending out and softening the edges of the shadows. And before I move on to a new shade, all I'm gonna do now is just go back into the PC38 brush with no extra product. I'm just gonna go in and blend towards where Intuition was laid. And I'm just gonna use what's left over in the brush to darken up the gradient a little bit more. And again, keeping the product towards the tip of the brush. And I'm just going towards the edge of the shade Hall. And with this shade, I really want to create more of that mustard tone towards the edge. So I'm just gonna slowly build the shade up, because in the end of the day, we don't want this eyeshadow look to be too dark, and we kind of want this to be a little bit more golden as well. So with this shade Shuffle, it is honestly stunning. So the technique we use is from the lightest to the darkest, and again I'm just going back in with the PC38 brush with no extra product. I'm just blending towards where the shade Hall was now, and that's just going to create our gradient again. So the technique we use is from the lightest to the darkest, and again I'm just going back in with the PC38 brush with no extra product. I'm just blending towards where the shade Hall was now, and that's just going to create our gradient again. Once you've got that done, I'm going to go in with my 221 brush, which is my carving brush from MAC, and I'm just going to grab my concealer, So the carbon brush from MAC is this. It is so thin. Honestly, I legit use this for everything. I use this to carve my brows out with. I use this to carve my lip shape out a little bit more, to give it a little bit more of a sharper look. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna start towards the center and then carve this inwards and create that rounded effect. And when it comes to cut creases, I always say go in with one smooth motion. Try avoid creating the small little movements because you'll open up a little bit more space for creating a mistake there. Just like that, and that's your cut crease, well, the top part of the cut crease done. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna grab the PC52 brush from Peaches and Cream. Top brush honestly is one of my favorite brushes to use, and I'm gonna go into the shade Pillow Talk from the Carnival palette, keeping the product as close as possible towards the tip of the brush. And all I'm doing now is just making sure I am tapping in the product to set it into place, and I want to keep the line really nice and defined. And with this shadow, we're just gonna pretty much bring this a quarter, about halfway in. We're not gonna bring it all the way across. And the way that I placed the shadow, I almost went into an angle because I am going to create a smoky liner towards the edge of the eyeshadow look. So now I'm going to go in with the PC38 brush using this shade Intuition. Crash there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look straight ahead with my hand mirror, and I'm just going to map out exactly where I want the liner to go. Always making sure I'm looking straight ahead, just to make sure that liner isn't a knifey tick and it's actually a really nice smooth straight line, if that makes sense. And once you're happy with the shape you've created, I'm gonna move on to the Morphe M560 brush and go into the shade Hall. And this time I'm holding the mirror further down, closer to my chin, so I can see my eyelids nice and relaxed without changing the shape of the eyeshadow. And I would always do my eyeshadow first, so don't worry too much if your shadows get too far down, because you can always clean that up with concealer. So now I'm just gonna go in with the same brush and going in with the shade Shuffle. So now I'm gonna go in with the 239 brush, and I'm focusing the product more towards the tip of the brush, making sure that one side is filled with the product and one side is clean. So this time I'm just tapping the product in and pressing it in towards the lash line, going up to an angle to create that smoky liner effect. And then just softly swiping it on to blend with the shade Shuffle. Once you've got that shade in, I'm going to move on to the shade Lights Out with the same 239 brush. I'm going to do the same method, which is press it in and blend. And like I said, don't worry too much if your eyeshadow goes too far down, because we are gonna clean that up later on. So after doing that, I'm gonna go in with a PC38 brush with no extra powder, no extra product. I'm just gonna blend the shade Intuition and Lights Out. So once you've got that into place, we can move on to pigments. So pigment wise, the product that I'm using and the product that I always use on a lot of my looks is the Reflex Pearl pigment. And honestly, with this bad boy, you can use this on its own. You can use this on any look as well. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the PC52 brush and dipping the brush in, just making sure the product is towards the tip of the brush. Now, just how stunning is that? So now, I don't need to lay any glitter glue or any pigment glue for this. So all I'm gonna do is press the pigment on towards the inner corner. Focusing the products more towards the inner corner, and then we're gonna slowly diffuse that out. And as I get further out, I'm just tapping the product in just a little bit lighter, and that way I'm not gonna be overpowering the look with any of the pigments. But how stunning is that? Like, the way it shimmers is honestly amazing. I just want a little bit more pigment towards the inner corner, and that's it. I'm now gonna do the lower lash line. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the 239 brush, grab a little bit of the shade Lights Out, and I'm just gonna focus this product, making sure I'm looking straight ahead into the mirror towards the outer corner of the eye, lower lash line, and also bringing it just a quarter in. I don't want to bring this all the way across the under eye because I want to keep this nice and light, but give a little bit of a definition towards the look. So now I'm gonna grab my PC38 brush and grabbing the shade Intuition, and then from the outside I'm gonna blend across. And I'm not gonna blend this all the way across. I'm just gonna blend this towards 3/4 in. I don't want to reach the inner corner for this shade. So once you've got that into place, what you can do now is clean up the shape of the look with your concealer, or if you haven't done your skin yet, what I like to do is just go in with my moisturizer and with a cotton pad, just a small amount towards the cotton pad. I'm just gonna place the excess towards the edge of the skin, and what I like to do is just bring this up to clean up the shape. And with that, we'll just clean up the eyeshadow look without ruining the skincare you have just laid. To finish this look, all you need is a lash, and that's your look done. So I'm gonna show you how that looks with lash. Now you can use any lash. Now I absolutely love stacking my lashes because I'm so used to having like really thick lash. But that is your finished look. Now, if you guys recreate this, please do give me a tag. I want to see your version of the look. But thank you.